Today, I'm reviewing the Pavilion Park, which is an odd amusement park located at the Broadway and the Beach complex in Myrtle Beach. And the best way I can describe this place is that it's a bigger version of the island in Pigeon Forge. Broadway at the beach has many of the same restaurants and stores, plus the aforementioned amusement park in Pavilion Park. Pavilion Park is peppered throughout the Broadway at the Beach complex and has three distinct sections: West, Central, and East. It's sort of like how Maurice Piers is divided into separate piers, except at Pavilion Park, they're separated by a strip mall as opposed to a boardwalk. And let me start off by saying that my visit started with a buzzkill. My primary reason for visiting Pavilion Park was to ride the Rocket, an extremely rare fun-time flat ride. This attraction stood 200 feet tall and inverted guests too many times to count. It's that type of sick flat ride you usually find on the European fair circuit. But when I arrived, I was treated to a disturbing sight. The Rocket was gone. In fact, the entire east section of the park was completely demolished. This was a fact not mentioned anywhere on the website. But if I had done more digging in advance of my visit, it would have been pretty apparent the park doesn't really keep their website up to date. Just look at the ride page for the Beast, where it looks like it's a placeholder that was not meant to go live. Later that day, when I stopped to get gas, I actually found the Rocket sitting in pieces in a vacant parking lot across from Broadway at the beach. And I really hope the park re-adds this attraction in the future, because it's really rare to find. And plus, since it's a tower, it doesn't really take up that much space. But the Rocket wasn't the only ride I discovered lying in pieces. The Broadway at the beach lot also includes several kiddie rides, presumably from the demolished east section, and some rides from the old Myrtle Beach Pavilion amusement park. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what the Pavilion Park actually had during my visit. Both the West and Central Pavilions are incredibly compact and filled to the brim with rides. In general, the Central Pavilion is home to the park's thrill rides. Meanwhile, the West Pavilion is home to the complex's massive Ferris Wheel and the park's family and kiddie rides. This is yet another free admission park, which makes sense considering it's located at a strip mall. You have the option to pay per ride or purchase an all-day wristband. If you plan to ride multiple attractions, the wristband is the way to go. The wristband costs roughly $35, while individual ride tickets cost $1.50, and the largest flat rides cost up to 7 tickets, or $10.50 per ride. Even though Broadway at the beach was quite busy, the ride sections weren't too bad. The longest wait I had was about 5 minutes for the Ferris Wheel, and that was just because of the sanitation procedures in place following each ride cycle. I did find it really interesting the Ferris Wheel was the only ride where the employees were cleaning vehicles in between cycles. The other attractions just had hand sanitizers set up at the entrance and were loading as normal. Coaster credit hunters will probably be most familiar with this place for the Myrtle Turtle, one of those ever popular SBF Visa spinning coasters. And that is located in the West Pavilion behind the Broadway 360 observation wheel. And that Ferris wheel stands a whopping 150 feet tall, so it gives incredible views of the entire Broadway at the Beach complex. Plus, you can even see the Myrtle Beach shoreline off in the distance and the Myrtle Beach Skywheel. None of the other rides in the West Pavilion stood out to me, but they did seem to be major hits among children. Moving on to the Central Pavilion, this section had 2 incredible flat rides in Speed XXL and Beast. Speed XXL is one of those booster rides that's typically an upcharge attraction. However, it is included on the wristband at Pavilion Park. As a result, I made sure to get multiple rides in this attraction. If you've never been on a booster, it really is one of the most intense flat rides out there. It has the speed of a roller coaster when it gets its max RPMs, while offering the unpredictable flipping of a flat ride such as the Zipper. But my favorite flat ride was actually the Beast, the jumbo Kmg Frisbee reaching heights of almost 150 feet. This version is noteworthy not only for its size, but also for its seating configuration. Half the seats face inwards, while the other half face outwards. If you ride in the inward-facing seats, you'll get a standard Frisbee ride with some great airtime. If you ride in the outward-facing seats, you will get some insanely strong laterals as the spinning tries pushing you against the restraint. My legs were completely numb by the end of the ride, so that made the G's and the downswing that much more intense. And you still got some great airtime in the max swings, even if it wasn't quite as noticeable because you were being forced outwards against the restraint at all times. The central section also has a really rare looking flat ride called the Moonraker 20. This can be best described as a cross between a roundup and a chance wipeout. The ride didn't offer any airtime, but it did pull some solid G's towards the end of the ride. However, it spent most of the time trying to work up to that dizzying speed. One of the other notable rides is the Pipeline Slide, this colossal mat racing slide that stands almost 100 feet tall. The hike atop the slide is grueling and reminiscent of a water slide, but the descent is well worth it as few slides reach this type of speed. The rest of the attractions in the area are some standard spinning rides, which most peculiarly include 2 different Himalaya rides. So that's my review and overview of the Pavilion Park at Broadway at the beach. And the burning question is whether or not I recommend visiting the park. And I'd say in Myrtle Beach your top priority should definitely be Family Kingdom, but if you have the extra time and appreciate thrilling flat rides and an extra coaster credit, Pavilion Park is a pricey pit stop worth checking out. Just know going in, the website may not be up to date because as you saw from my visit, an entire section of the park was demolished without any mention on the website. So what are your thoughts on the Pavilion Park or Broadway on the Beach complex in general? Have you been there, or is it a place you hope to check out someday? I would love to hear your thoughts down below. Subscribe for more roller coaster and amusement park reviews here at Kmg Coaster, and thank you for listening.